Hello everyone. This is another YouTube video, but this one is going to be a little bit different today. So today I'm going to show you how I read tarot. So I have two decks here today. This is my Thoth deck. This one was developed by Aleister Crowley, and I want to say the early 60s. Could be a little bit before that. But it was developed in collaboration with another woman who I'm not the most familiar with the story, but they designed this deck to be a retelling of a bunch of ancient symbolism and traditions that had existed in the occult world for thousands of years. So they took, scattered images from different groups and different, occult groups and different, spiritual traditions from thousands of years of history, and they condensed that imagery into this deck. This deck is one of my favorites because it is very good at visualizing what is trying to be expressed through the cards. You feel the cards when they are put in front of you. You know instinctively on a very fundamental level what each card is trying to say. My other deck is a mixture of a Gaia Oracle deck and a Dragons and Fae Oracle deck. And the reason I combined these two was to basically symbolize the union of the spiritual and the physical world. So, with that being said, I'm doing this reading for myself. This is just to show y'all what my process is. This is to show you how I do my readings. Obviously, part of the allure of psychic is having them tell you things that, they had no way of knowing about you. And I think that part of that is not displayed to its fullest extent in the setting, and I just want to have my viewers be aware of that. And that as much as this is a good show of what I do and how I do it, there's a lot that is not translated through the camera. And so with that understanding, I'm going to get started. I've already set up my crystal board. I have various stones and chains. These are to basically serve as barriers between myself, my energy, and any other energies that might be existing in the space that I'm in. And it's to prevent any energy from coming and hitting me, and it's preventing my energy from influencing the reading. I'm actually going to switch this out because normally I'm reading for other people and I do not want my energy to be in the sphere, but this time I do. And so I'm going to switch out that silver chain for a copper chain, which is a little bit more permeable. It actually will amplify the spiritual energy that you're putting into the space. And regardless of what you believe, I think that intention and knowing what you want out of what you're doing and having a very clear idea in mind of the steps you're doing to take to get there can put you in a frame of mind that is, unstoppable. It really is. So, without any more, I'm going to start doing my reading. The first card for me is Attunement. So, this is out of my Dragons and Fae deck. So, I'm going to put this to the north. This is helping me find my way. So, generally speaking, the first cards that I draw on the deck are, I normally have a center card, but because I'm using two decks right now, I'm using this as kind of an attunement. So this will show me what I'm moving through. And what I'm doing here is there's no rhyme or reason to the way that I do tarot in terms of how I place the cards. The cards, they come and you can feel where they want to go. When you are able to take yourself out of it and just, I could just feel that this card, it was guiding me towards the north, and this is what I'm moving through. It's like the bottom of the path and the top of the path. And so the way I do my readings is, a lot of it is intuition based, but I'm looking at the pathway between things. So this next card is going to be my center card. And normally I start off with the center card, but this card defines where you are in life. This card defines what you're experiencing. This is the core of you right now, is your center card. With 2 decks, this is a guide for this deck, is what I was reading from this. And this being my center card will define how the rest of the reading is read as well. So I'm going to move out of that. I'm going to move into orientation. So with my Thoth deck, I have it mixed where some of the cards are upside down, some of the cards are right side up. It's really at random. I shuffle it upside down, I shuffle it together in any way. It just, however the cards feel like being, that's what suits them. With my other deck, they're all facing one direction. So with that being said, with my Thoth deck, I like to make an attunement. So this will show me what is right side up and what is not. So what I'm really getting is that this thing that I'm searching for is upside down. It's something I haven't gotten to yet. This is the Princess of Cups. This worry is something that I'm moving through. It's something that I have already been through. It's right side up. And so this is going to be the direction that my cards are facing. Anything that is facing with this side up is going to be right side up. Anything that is facing the opposite way, where the letters are upside down and they're at the top of the card, is going to be upside down for the purpose of this deck. And I realize that y'all on the camera might be looking at this upside down, but you can see that the letters facing, the letters going this way, this is going to be up, and this is going to be upside down. From there, I make a pathway. And a lot of this comes from just listening to the cards and just feeling where they want to be put. You can really, if you're not very experienced with this and you need help, or you feel like you need to magnify the feeling, it's all just intuition though. This is a pendulum. So to attune a pendulum, you're going to ask it about 3 or 4 questions. You're going to ask it which way it is yes. You can see it's really wanting to show me that already. It's excited to show y'all. But you can see my hand's completely stationary. It's just showing me the direction. And then show me no. Show me positive. And show me negative. And so this will tell you through your intuition, through your just feeling the flow of the universe. You can use it to guide where the cards want to be. You can ask before you place down, is this the right place for the next card? It's giving me a no. Is this the right place for the next card? Still giving me a no. Is this the right place? And there it is. So through a little bit of experience, I can just kind of feel where these cards are going. You'll definitely be more in tune with that the more that you do it. And the more used to feeling that energy and that guiding force, the better you are going to be able to just trust it and let go of your own inhibitions and self-worry and doubt. So, as you can see, I came out a lot of apprehension, which is true for myself. I came out a lot of social anxiety. Anyone who knows me from when I was younger knows that I very much stayed to myself. I had a couple friends maybe, but I was always anxious and nervous and just doing everything out of fear of not being enough. And when I moved out into the world, like this apprehension card says, I doubted myself a lot and I went back into my shell. And I spent a long time in the closet before I ever came out as trans. And it goes hand in hand with this worry right here. I had a lot of worry and apprehension. And my story so far has been a lot of success coming out of that. It's been a lot of fortune, victory. I started this YouTube channel. I started my own business. I put myself through massage school. So it's been a very, amazing process coming out of that. And I'm very grateful to have done it. But this is definitely telling some of my story so far. And this is going Prince of Cups. So these two are, this is kind of funny, but this one is just saying that, through that kind of sense of like, I was able to put myself through that. The Prince of Cups, it signifies moving through obstacles. It symbolizes kind of being the guiding force through your life. It symbolizes getting where you want to go, and basically you're the one navigating, you're the one behind the wheels. You're on your way to fullness. And on the opposite side of that is the Hierophant. And sometimes I do have an ego, and I can get kind of caught up in trying to be a master of something. I can forget that, I don't know everything, and that even though I do have this amazing ability that is just beyond my words to describe, it doesn't make me foolproof. It doesn't make me, perfect. I fuck up just like everyone else, and I think this is just a reminder that, no matter how much I get through, I have to stay humble, and it's something I do struggle with sometimes. So, moving forward through that, you can tell this card is upside down, so this is changing the way you look at mastery. Not only did I struggle with that, I am becoming aware of it. So this is upside down, saying not only the Hierophant is like, it symbolizes kind of like someone who's a master over something, but like, if you look at the card, it's someone they're coming from a place of pure intention, but they're overshadowing like the true light, and they're kind of taking the stage, they're kind of like overshadowing this person who is really the source of light, the sacred feminine. And it's a reminder that I'm becoming aware of it, that I'm changing the way I look at mastery, but it's also a reminder to stay humble and remember that this is what I'm working through. So with that being said, you can see how this is kind of just showing you like how you've made it through this situation. This is just describing this part of this journey. So this is like one stage, and it's going 2 cards, but it's one story. And you can even go further in on this. Right now, I'm at a place where my fullness is there. Like, I feel very full. The Ace of Cups symbolizes your true sense of fulfillment, your true sense of purpose, like doing the things that are really bringing you that sense of, I'm overflowing with happiness. And I am there right now, but it's also kind of, been blocked. So this is kind of standing across this right now. And so what that symbolizes, like, I've had some fortune, I have a lot of fullness, but there's also a lot of things that I just have not been able to achieve. And it's taken me a lot of valor to kind of like, it's like I'm as full as I can with what I have, but I still need to make another step to get where I want to be, which I think really speaks to this sense of attunement being my final card. I don't feel like I'm quite there yet, and it's always a journey, it's always a process of learning and growing, but when you're fully there, and I just don't feel like I'm 100%, in my element yet. I've done as much as I can within my own mental space, within my own body, within my own ability to change things, but I think my sense of fulfillment lies more than just what I have. It lies in more of a community thing, and I think you'll see that expressed in the reading through this. But we'll see. So, I am working through a lot of lust. I'm just making sure. Sometimes I do want to check, is this where this card wants to be? I felt a little bit of a pull towards a different direction, but that could be something else coming on later. So, I'm moving through a connection where I'm able to explore my connection between the physical and the spiritual. I'm also being able to explore my lust in a healthy way for the first time. It's been really interesting. I've been doing a lot of like BDSM events, but instead of getting lost in lust, I'm being able to set healthier boundaries, and I think that's a lot of my journey so far. It's just letting myself, it's healing from sexual trauma and letting myself have kind of like, I don't want to say a healthy form of lust, but I'm working through the lust that I have, and that's healthy. So I think that's been pretty accurate as well. Right now, I'm at a crossroads. It's like I'm really caught between lusting after these physical things and kind of looking into that deeper connection. If you can look at this one, it shows you the journey, the physical body overlaid by the spiritual body and the connection between the two. This is one of my favorite cards. It's the Aeon. It just speaks of, the connection between the physical, spiritual, and the agelessness of the universe. But I'm really caught between those two worlds, and it's been something I've been working on, moving towards more of the physical or the spiritual. But there's still a lot of, things like playing video games, not necessarily sexual lust. It's just wanting things that are not good for me. And there's a lot of that I'm working through and that I'm having to leave behind and trust my heart. This has really been, the biggest period of trusting myself and trusting my heart in my life. If you look at the Fool, it's all about opening the heart, letting the light in, letting peace in, and letting poison and discontent move out. So it's a very powerful card to me, and I've always very much identified with the Fool as someone who very much lives most of their life by trusting their heart. And the last two things that I'm working through are cruelty and ruin. I've had a lot of cruelty put towards me. I've had a lot of things that, have taken me out of that connection to the spiritual. I've had a lot of sexual assault and, physical assault and violence. And it's really kind of made it hard for me to just let go and trust through that. So it's changing the way that I look at cruelty. And I'd say I really have been doing that a lot with the work I've been doing in the BDSM community. It's, it all goes back to like moving through that lust in like a healthier way and kind of transmuting that and taking what was cruel acts that were done to me and putting myself in a position where I have more choice and control over what happens to me in those situations. And then lust has led to a lot of ruin for me. And it's one of those things, it's like the more I go after those physical things, the more that they fall out from under me. And I'm kind of forced to just, look at what's real. And it's not always it's not always pleasant. These last few weeks have been really rough for me. I've been doing a lot of work on myself and just, trying to be more in control or more aware of the behaviors that I'm doing, and being more proactive and thinking more advanced about how to set myself up to do better in the future, instead of just trying to force myself in the moment to like, hey, you just gotta get through this and do better. It's like, okay, no, what can I give myself on those days when I'm not doing when I'm not doing well, so I have the resources I need to to do the things that I need to do. It's like, getting in the habit of journaling every day has really helped me have a place to let out my emotions. And when I'm feeling overwhelmed, instead of just laying in bed and feeling depressed, I'll write it down. And that's just having that available and having a system where I can go and do that easily. Or another really good example, just having a bunch of painting stuff. So if I'm having a bad day, I can just go grab some oil pastels and just start painting. And it's just those little things. It's like, having ways to get yourself out of those funks when you're in it, and preparing that ahead of time is so much more valuable than trying to just, force yourself to get over it. So this really has been a long period of attunement for me. I've come from a lot of apprehension. I've moved through a lot of success and overwhelming abundance, and then hardship and failure. But what is waiting for me is my highest self, the Princess of Cups. This card literally symbolizes your highest self. It's what you want to be. And it was at the opposite end of my worry. It's upside down and it's not quite where I am yet, but it's there. And that's where I'm going at the end of this. I think that you can tell a lot about someone's stories just by how these cards lay out. And I think everyone can relate to these cards in some way. I'm grateful to be able to share my story and to be able to talk about my experiences. I hope this inspires y'all to go pick up some tarot yourself. It's an amazing thing, and even just seeing this in front of me, has helped me feel less overwhelmed. And I'm constantly learning new things about myself and having really deep conversations with myself because of this gift. And if you think that it might be something that you're interested in, I really recommend it because it's not as scary as most people think it is. So that has been how I do tarot readings. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Please let me know if you want me to do more of this content. I am seriously thinking about doing a day a week where I do free tarot readings for people live over my YouTube channel. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to reach out to me in the comment section, or if you know me, DM me. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all showing up, and it's been another amazing video. Much love always.